Beginning of last year and explained what he was doing and why, he came off very well, and I think that was beneficial to his cause. And when I say that, when I debate this publicly, I always get, oh, but he wore a stand for what I stand for.
Well, Dan, you just mentioned that shortly after his initial anthem protest, Colin Kaepernick did speak. He did address a group of reporters following purposes and messages far beyond what they do on the gridiron.
Well, you bring up that point, though. Does it have to be separate? Can you be a football player and also be an advocate? Dominique, do you think that that's possible?
No, I think you certainly can, and I think you should be doing that. I mean, I've talked about recently how a lot of us at this company.
I think it's important to remember here that Colin Kaepernick is not the one dictating the current terms of his employment.
To underscore here, you know, will any GM, are all GMs feeling this way? The feelings about Colin Kaepernick and signing him view him as a starting level quarterback and maybe not even a very good backup quarterback.
Surely the same is being said about many players that are on NFL rosters right now.
That's true, but, and here's the but.
He's had 3 coaches in 3 seasons. He's got the highest wide receiver drop percentage in the league, and people forget he also led a team to a Super Bowl. Do you think that this is going to be enough to keep him off a roster, though?
Well, I mean, I think it was very clear to us that he wasn't going to get on a roster. It's been that way for.
Do you think that Colin Kaepernick is on a team week 1?
No.
Bill?
No.
Field?
Yes.
Dan?
Yeah, I say yes.
All right. Dominique, thank you so much for joining the conversation. I appreciate your insight.
Thank you guys, too.
Which is what put them in this A category. What was that?
Well, let me take you right out onto the practice field a couple weeks ago, Dianna, and I watched the Patriots in their mandatory minicamp, and the practice is over, and there's 2 players that are still out on the field. It's Tom Brady and Brandon Cooks.
Define your offseason, and for the Browns, again, they basically passed on drafting a quarterback high. They had the first overall pick. They took Myles Garrett. Not a lot of debate as to whether or not they should have taken Garrett #1 overall, but they had the 12th pick and they moved down to acquire more future draft capital. DeShone Kizer in the 2nd round is viewed as a developmental prospect, but certainly not the quarterback that unquestionably is that player of the future for them.
All right, well, there's other teams on this board that stand out in terms of they made some good moves.
$7 million is great money.
Yeah.
But compared to $50 million type dollar investments, that right there seemed like a bargain to me.
Prince Amukamara has never had a great season. He's injured a lot.
A number of different running backs last year. Haven't been able to keep Thomas Rawls healthy. Still looking for that replacement for Marshawn Lynch a couple of years later.
Listen, there was a chance that the Bears, at least they were speculated to possibly double tag Alshon Jeffrey after using it. Potential steal for Washington, who saw an exodus amongst its wide receivers this offseason.
I got to say to him, I agree with you completely, but a little voice keeps saying, not really, not really. It's what we get paid to do.
I'm sure everybody wants my basketball analysis here. How about the Celtics, who made the first seed in the Eastern Conference this past year? They could pick in the top 5 for 4 straight seasons. #3 last year, #3 this year. They own the Nets pick next year, and now they own potentially the Kings pick in 2019. I like it.
You're so happy. This is how you know it's the offense. Caught the ball.
That's a game called Amazing Catches that you play with your grandkids on the bed. They're playing it on open water.
Actually, I have breaking news. It was actually Field that caught that ball in the water skis.
Really?
I was going to show some humility here. You know. And by the way, all the West Coast scouts out there, don't even bother. Your evaluation is done. The guy's the clear-cut #1 pick based off
Put that drill in the